Welcome to Vodfathers. Episode, who knows? Who cares? Hopefully you. And that's why you've clicked on this link. I'm joined, Mr. TMV, I am. Joined by Sideshow and Shyo, my normal compatriots here on this podcast. Now, last week, if you watched last week's Vodfathers, and if you didn't, go and watch it just for the intro alone, because it was an all-timer. And this week's intro is obviously never going to live up to that. I'm like, the guy trying to run after Usain Bolt. I'm just never going to look as good. This isn't going to look as good, okay? But what we're going to start off with here is the biannual standardized test about rapport and dedication. Now, as the title of that suggests, this will be a biannual test. We've been doing this for a little while now, this Vodfathers episodes. Shyo, when were you first aware of Sideshow? How long ago was that?
Overwatch season 3, 2, I don't know, like way back in the day.
That is a long time.
Yeah.
And Sideshow?
Yeah.
When were you first aware of Shyo Wager?
2021, I guess, when I was watching the first stuff that was going on in Valorant.
Okay. So you've known about each other for quite some time. We've been doing this podcast for a little bit of time as well. So therefore you should be able to think like the other person. So what I have done is I have asked both of you 10 questions. And what we will do is quickly go through those 10 questions, going one at a time, one to one person, one to the other. Now, you need to answer this question like the other person would answer them. Now, we're going fast. You need to answer the questions quickly here, and then we will see how well you know each other and whether there is improvement to be made in the rapport and dedication to this podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
So, everyone understand, I'm going to go one question to, I'm going to start with you, Shyo, go to one question there, one question to Sideshow. You may not speak whilst the other person is answering their question, but you may give facial reactions that give away how correct they were.
Yeah,
now,
I won't be able to help that.
So, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Shyo Wager. We're going to try and do this fast as we can. Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Are you ready, Sideshow?
I'm gonna try to be.
Okay. Shyo. Question number 1. MIBR will fail in 2026 because of...
Zakin is sick.
Sideshow, what is the best tasting color?
The best tasting color, purple.
Shyo, is double dipping acceptable?
Yes.
Sideshow, are Sentinels now in trouble for 2026?
Absolutely.
Shyo, was the JFK assassination a CIA plot?
Yes. Absolutely.
Sideshow, if Shyo was a Valorant agent, what class would he be?
He would be a Sentinel.
Shyo, I blank the way Aspas plays Valorant.
I love the way that Aspas plays Valorant.
Sideshow, I will always fight for and support blank.
Vodfathers.
Shyo, is swimming with sharks a good idea?
Yes, because... No, not at all. I hate...
Sideshow, the surprise team of VCT 2026 will be?
Cloud9.
Shyo, what's 9 plus 10?
21.
Sideshow, name a woman.
Little Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, no.
Shyo, C9 are a team full of blank.
Veterans, old people.
Sideshow, you wake up on a deserted island. Nothing is there. Nothing except a man. You stumble, your body aching. You slowly creep towards the towering figure in the distance. As you get closer, you notice it's not just any man. By God, that's Brennan Hook. Except he's different. He's a Star Wars blue ghost. He signals to you to come closer and then whispers, "The only way out is to confess." Do you confess?
I tell him everything.
Shyo, is everything art?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Sideshow, did the proportional representation system of the Weimar Republic lead directly to the beginning of World War II?
It wasn't the largest factor, no.
Shyo, I am blank.
Gay.
You think that's how I've come out?
Sideshow, I am a better caster than blank.
Sideshow.
Shyo, yes or no, having to do multiple trips to get the shopping from the car to the house is a sign of weakness.
No, it's not. It's a sign of just
Sideshow, we shouldn't tax the ultra wealthy more because
I do a podcast with one of them called TMV.
Whoa!
There's no way I clutched that.
Okay. Let's go through some of these answers. So
just to be clear, though, for anyone who didn't get that, that was us responding, trying to say the same response as the other person.
Yeah.
We were not trying to say the correct answers that we thought, because I just want to make it very, very clear there.
Okay. He's got a wife. Anyway, let's go through some of the answers, see how you did. So, Shyo, MIBR will fail in 2026 because of, you said something about Zekken, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Zekken is unwell. He said
Zekken is unwell. Sideshow said extraordinary expectations, so not quite there. Sideshow said the best tasting color was purple. Shyo said yellow.
Oh, so you are so wrong with that one, though.
I don't like grapes flavors.
No, but yellow is a strange choice. When I saw you put yellow,
lemons, Sprite, iced tea, the
Bro,
sun.
you're just naming more yellow.
The sun. No, I asked, is double dipping acceptable? And congratulations, Shyo figured out the game. I don't think you believe this, but I wanted to test how willing you were, what your dedication to the game was, because I know that you disagree. Sideshow, are Sentinels now in trouble for 2026? What did you say to this?
I said absolutely.
You said absolutely. Well, Shyo said Cortesia equals Spank Theory equals they're safe.
I missed.
You disagreed on whether the CIA was involved in the JFK assassination. Shyo, you said yes. Sideshow said no. Any
thinking about the
thoughts?
Sponsors, so
it's a large.
It makes sense.
Now, here's an interesting one, because I thought about this one as well. I would have said that Shyo would be a Sentinel. I was a bit surprised that you said Initiator, Shyo.
You play Vito, you play Chamber, you're a Sentinel guy.
No, but in the business, I'd be the one rallying the troops. And I don't think that's as Sentinel-y as it is
Is that an
get
initiator
in there.
Then? Or what?
Yeah, you're inspiring.
Yeah,
I'd be like a bardic inspiration type.
Okay.
Because I thought of the same. I was sitting on the couch downstairs, shirtless, just answering these questions, and I was like, just to give you guys a, get everyone immersed. And I'm like, I'm pretty much a Sentinel. It makes sense. It's a Sentinel, right? Hold down the site, big guy, but also the vibes, the speeches. Don't give up. It's possible, doable, positive mental attitude.
Sure.
It's very initiator.
Now, the next one was, I blank the way Aspas plays Valorant. Sideshow said, I could play the way Aspas plays Valorant, which I don't think is true. Shyo said, bait I think, is what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get creative with it, but the pressure was on. And I was like, he might just keep it safe, so.
Sideshow will always fight for and support Vodfathers. Shyo said, G2/Pakistan, unless they're doing dumb shit. So quite different answers there.
Wow. Yeah.
I think you both. Did you say swimming with sharks was a good idea, Shyo?
Yes. Why? Yes. Why on earth would I have said that swimming with sharks was a good idea?
I don't know. I thought
I saw that one in the list and I just thought, well, that's a slam dunk.
No, but you've been on vacations and maybe you swam with sharks, maybe you scuba dove. I was like, maybe it's something I don't know.
What have you got against swimming with sharks, Sideshow?
Well, I wasn't thinking about it in the sense of when people actually go swimming with sharks and they're inside a cage and it's, I was just thinking you meant, leap in the water while there's sharks around. I was going to answer something the problem is you told me to answer with as few words as possible. I can't insert any nuance in there. I'm just gonna take it at face value. I don't want to be eaten.
Now, I knew that the surprise theme of VCT 2026, interesting. You said Cloud9 Sideshow and then instantly
because I was
made
already
a face
thinking,
like you didn't.
No, I didn't believe my own answer because one of the future questions is about Cloud9, so they were just in my head. In no way did I believe what I was saying there.
Okay, well, Shyo said Giant X / the Toronto Raptors. for his
I wasn't
answer.
going to get the Toronto Raptors.
Now here was a slam dunk. What's 9 plus 10? Good
21.
answer. Both got 21.
21, baby.
That was good. Showing our age perhaps there a little bit. It would be interesting to ask, what age group wouldn't answer 21? Interesting.
Anyone born after 2005.
Yeah, something like that. I asked Sideshow to name a woman. Do you think really that Shyo Wade just said Margaret Thatcher? Because that was that was what you said.
I was just thinking, like, you make a lot of jokes about Margaret Thatcher. I thought no, you don't, but TMV does, and like, I thought maybe
I think that
you
one
would
really
try
caught you off guard. But again, we've seen that you really struggle with that whole concept. Shyo said Megan Thee Stallion, who we agreed you wouldn't even potentially know.
Hold the phone. I know.
He
Megan Thee
claimed you
Stallion.
wouldn't even recognize women of that race.
That's an extraordinary allegation.
I never said that. I never said that on the record. I never said that on the record. On the record, I've never said that.
Anyway, C9 are a team full of, you said veterans, Shyo. Sideshow, you said inconsistency. I was kind of hoping one of you would say snakes, to be honest. That was where I was hoping.
We'll talk about that later.
You will go. Yeah. You wake up on a deserted island, nothing's there but Bren, and he's a Star Wars blue ghost. You both confessed. I really thought Sideshow wouldn't confess. Shyo specifically said he would confess to casting to cheat in a charity tournament. I'm guessing that's the worst thing you've ever done, Shyo?
Yeah, Bala and I are guilty of both being casters and using that to cheat inside a tournament for charity. Yeah, it's crazy. We played in the tournament while casting it, seeing the feeds of everybody around us. But since we had to also cast, it was like when we were coming to each other, we were like in a bush. It was a Fortnite tournament. It's like, whoa, look at these guys. They got no shield and no health. It might be a good idea to push them. Bala and Shyo might want to push. And I was like, yeah, it's a good idea. Crazy. Yeah.
Is everything art? Shyo, you said yes. Sideshow, you said no. Explain why it isn't, Sideshow.
No room for nuance, but I would say that art requires the intention to invoke emotion. I don't think that creating a utility object or, something that hasn't got an intention to evoke some level of response in whatever it's being used for is not art. If everything is art, nothing is art.
Shyo, you seem to disagree.
Art is beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Your intentions doesn't mean that other people don't have their intentions in interpretation. You know what I'm saying? So, like, by just existing, you are art.
I mean, I would say that I am art. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. Did proportional representation system of the Weimar Republic lead to the beginning of World War II? You both hinted on the side of no. Shyo said, nah, it was low admission to art schools, is what he said.
Right. Well, everything is art.
Well, I mean, speaking of I am, what did you say for this, Shyo? You said I am gay is what you said.
Yeah, but that's because of the 9 plus 10 question. Just like how the C9 question got you earlier, there's a meme with a green leprechaun jumping off a table saying, I'm gay. And I'm like, oh, like that instantly popped in my head.
Yeah, no, for real, that seems like the kind of video that I'm watching on the regular.
And I'm like, well, if Sideshow's locked in with 21, he might be locked in with this one too, because if it's a one-word answer, like we're on the same page. Well, it was not an actual inner thought, we're all big shit.
I don't know if this reflects well on Sideshow, but he said he was infallible.
Which means that Shyo's... Anytime we're disagreeing on something with regards to this biannual standardized test, Shyo's wrong.
Now, Sideshow tried to metagame this one. I am a better caster than blank. Sideshow thought that Shyo would say that he was a better caster than Sideshow.
Yeah.
But actually, Shyo said Barack Obama.
Right. Well, that's an unusual one for me to have to try to guess, isn't it? I don't think I was ever going to.
I was kind of hoping more that, he would say you or some other actual caster. I mean, that would be fun if he did. And then yes or no, having multiple trips to get the shopping from the car to the house is a sign of weakness. Shyo, what did you say to this?
The right answer is yes. Everybody knows this. But I thought that Sideshow, if he's asked questions sometimes, goes for the side of nuance on the unpopular side, right?
Do you want my answer to this one? I answered yes, but I don't think it's a sign of physical weakness. It's a sign of weak forethought and weak planning. because one should be able to get everything in one go. Otherwise, I mean, sometimes I have to park around the corner. I've got to plan ahead to be able to get it all gone in one go. Like, you know, weakness doesn't just mean your physically mortal shell that you're inside of. This body I possess is weak and limp.
We ended on a banger. We shouldn't tax the ultra wealthy more because Sideshow claimed that I was ultra wealthy. Shyo said they are two of the hosts on the podcast.
Holy!
So you were absolutely nailed that one. Absolutely nailed that one. Even though I am not ultra wealthy, so that's that.
You literally admitted it on another podcast.
Yeah, I'll get the rent to you soon though, TMV. I'll get the. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Well, let's go past these baseless rumors of me being ultra wealthy, because I mean, as you can tell by the blank room behind me, you don't think I'd have, if I was ultra wealthy, you don't think I'd have like a massive portrait of myself behind me?
Well, I don't think that has to do with wealth. I think that has to do with lack of style, class, taste, art,
you think
appreciation.
You think that's classy and tasteful, do you, having a massive portrait of yourself?
Having something on the wall might be better. I mean, Shyo, is the blank wall behind him art?
It is a choice,
because
though.
The
that is a choice.
Of art is it's a choice. It's a choice of lazy man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You could have got a mirror, could have got a painting.
Instead of lazy, I prefer Spartan, to be honest.
Yes, prison aesthetic.
Like that. Yes.
I could survive in prison. I wouldn't miss the art, would I?
I mean, they'd send you to a different place, though, wouldn't they? They'd send you to the wealthy prison for people who commit financial crimes.
Yes, well furnished. Anyway, shall we move on past this? I'm glad that we got to know each other a little bit better. Hopefully, you two now can be on the same page. This is a biannual test, so
yeah, 6 months from now, I'll be ready. But do you know? Do you know what day it is today?
October 28th.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the day that we're recording. But you know what day this thing comes out?
The Wednesday, the 29th?
Drama day. It's drama day. Everything's on fire. Everything is on fire. It's drama Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, whenever this episode is releasing. It's the day of the week that is for drama. Dude, our off-season has been proceeding at a pretty nice rate. I feel like we've been getting juice, but there hasn't been too much like conflict. And this week, for whatever reason, everyone just decided to dive into conflict as well. The one that's just been announced, like right before recording, is very funny because Cloud9 have replaced Mitch with Zellsis, and Mitch's girlfriend basically broke the story before anybody else by just having a little rant on Twitter about it, accusing them of nepotism.
C9 nepotism? Surely not.
Accusing them of having no Stratbook, saying that she and Mitch built the Stratbook for them.
I mean, that is very funny to say we built the Stratbook, not Mitch. I mean, C9, hire her as assistant coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny. Let me see if I can find the exact comments here. So it was... They didn't have a Stratbook before Mitch joined, by the way. Skull emoji. And then she followed up with, I designed the Stratbook with Mitch to use with the team. Now, that also implies that she did most of it, the way that she's framed that. I mean, she designed it with Mitch's help, not Mitch did it and I helped. So they really should be hiring her. That's incredible, isn't it? And then saying Mitch really wanted to win. If the rest of his team don't want it badly enough, there's not much else you can do. He worked so hard to get them to the top 4. It's just a shame that he's getting cut after 99% of rosters have been secured. It feels vindictive and icky to me. Nepotism will always win. I'm glad you're not blind to what the actual issue is on that team. Talking to another fan. I mean, those are strong words.
Well, I do think there is one part of it, like the one part of that, obviously, you know, do they have a Stratbook or not is funny. But the one part to that I think you could argue for C9, the way that they operate, and it is a little slimy, is that they are like those people that are in relationships but always, you know, they're the guy looking over his shoulder. They are constantly that, right? Like, they'll stay with you up to a point, but they literally worded it like that, I think, themselves, right? That a better opportunity presented itself.
Yeah.
Like,
that is just how they operate. Up during trials. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't you know, like, oh, we need to move on from Mitch. You know, let's find another IGL. We think something else can work. We're happy with you. We'll keep you. As soon as anything's, you know, we think might be slightly better, you're gone. We don't care. Like, and, you know, most orgs, I feel like...
I'm going to challenge you. Isn't that how a team that... Because C9 are generally a crumbs team. Like, in the sense of, like, they're eating the little scraps from the rest of the table, usually. They're not going out there with the big purchasing power ever since, like, you know, cutting Yay back at the beginning of 2023. Yeah. So, isn't that how a team like that should operate? In a very opportunistic manner?
Perhaps, but I think it does... Like, I think that if you're Mitch and or his girlfriend, you have a right to be annoyed at that, right? Like, she is right that, you know, most teams by this point probably have, like, somewhat of a structure, a coach, IGL, at least in mind, or have already signed them, right? And know which direction they're going to. So particularly as an IGL, to, like, you know, get cut at this point, you know, it might be a little bit more difficult, and maybe we'll talk about Mitch and where he might go a bit in the future, but I do think there is a right to be aggrieved. Is it, you know, C9 also have the right to, as you say, like, they are a bit of a crumbs team, look for that. I think the problem that C9 have a lot of the time with these moves that they made, like Rossi with last year, is that is this an obvious upgrade? I think that is another reason why fans get annoyed by this, because not only are you, you know, getting rid of someone late on, but it's not clear that, like, this definitely will make the team better. Yes, C9 probably think it will make the team better, but I think from the outside perspective, and maybe you guys can talk about this if you wish, does this move actually make C9 definitely better?
I think a change was slightly needed, but my question before answering your question is, the allegations are nepotism against Mitch. There's an ancient tradition / saying called "ball don't lie." How was Mitch added to this roster, and when did that happen the last time? You just mentioned Rossi. Right now, it's the end of October where Mitch is being removed. Rossi got removed December the 2nd, and Mitch was added afterwards. And Mitch was on the team beforehand. Is that a bit nepotistic? It's not some random player coming in. It's someone you know. It's someone you've paid before. It's someone you dapped up on the regular.
I mean, Mitch...
Ball don't lie.
I mean, Mitch and Vanity, when it comes to C9, have been plus minus many, many, many times. So they definitely... Yeah. Mitch... I wouldn't say, though, that's Nepo so much as going... Like, you really need a bit of loving and you're going back to someone you know. You know? It's like... It's a bit...
But from Rossi's perspective...
From Rossi's
perspective, Mitch is Zellsis.
But also... No, but from Rossi's perspective, he fucked it. Like, the difference is that Rossi was not a good long-term fit for the team. Mitch could have been, right? We've seen that Mitch actually was really successful with them this year. Mitch seemed like he was doing a good job in terms of, I mean, we didn't know necessarily that he was doing a great job in terms of, like, actually drawing up the strats for them and stuff, but certainly in terms of his calling. Yeah, sorry. He was helping, though. He was helping. You know, getting all of that up to scratch. I think the two scenarios are quite different, and I think people are very aware that Zellsis and Imi are really good friends. I think that there's no secret about that. They want to, I would imagine, want to play with each other, enjoy the way that each other think about the game. They talk outside of things. Like, when you tend to get aligned with a vision like that, it can lead to a really good outcome for you because the coach and the IGL are on exactly the same page. But I think it's also just you want to play with people like that. I would like to answer TMV's question, though, about whether or not this is going to make them better, whether it's going to be a good thing for them. A concern I had when they looked to get rid of Net was that they weren't going to have anyone who was actually an energy guy, a hype guy, a guy that was actually going to keep them laser focused on winning and keep the attitude correct. Because that, to me, has been the biggest problem with whatever these, like, cycling versions of Cloud9 have been. Honestly, for the last 3 years, since 2023, when they had the, like... That was the year where they had Rooney and Jake and stuff towards the end, wasn't it? I think.
The MC.
Yeah. So that, I think, is solved immediately with the addition of Zellsis. And it allows you to just get a super fragging Sentinel kind of player onto the team to make up for Zellsis's weak output. And to be honest, Zellsis's weak output, from what I can remember, it's not like it's that much worse than Mitch's as well. I don't think Mitch was lighting the world on fire in terms of his fragging.
But that was before Zellsis was IGLing. Do you not think
True.
that there's a worry that maybe he does, dip because he's also having to IGL? And you'll know this better than me, Sideshow, for certain. Do you think? Yes, we know that Zellsis is like a very good character to have on a team. Like he's a good leader and stuff like that. But can he? Do you think his calling will be good? Do you think he has the the kind of knowledge of that side of the game to be an effective IGL?
Just first on the fragging, because that's what you asked originally, right? So I've just looked back at stage 2. Mitch was at 0.57 kill per round, which is really, really low. Like 0.6 is already, you are not particularly outputting anything. And then 0.57 is, getting the IGL nerf on top of not being a particularly strong fragging player. Zellsis, for all of the criticisms, in stage 2 was still dropping 0.66, so considerably better fragging actually than Mitch, even though he is not a big fragging player. So he could afford even to take a bit of a dip in terms of the IGLing, which I don't think you really I think Zellsis doesn't actually have his brain focused on his crosshair that much anyway. I think a lot of when you watch Zellsis play, he's thinking about the wider aspects of the game and is he in the right position? Is he throwing the right utility? Much more than he's thinking about is his crosshair placement good? That kind of stuff. So I don't think the fragging is going to be an issue. I think if you're bringing that up as a replacement for Mitch, it's a non-starter in my opinion. The better question is the calling aspect. And I don't have a good answer for you because even though Zellsis we know is very vocal, it's one thing being super vocal and doing some IGLing. It's another thing being the primary caller for a team and, being in charge of stuff like the strats, the vision of the game, that kind of aspect. And I think that is a big question.
I think this is the best time to make a switch to change your vision and direction for your strats and how things are going to be shaping up because the game has changed from a macro perspective on the VCT level a lot since the last patch. So if you're trying to start things from scratch, you're trying to build things again, if your whole Stratbook got thrown out this morning, it's not that bad of a thing because you do have to kind of rethink how you approach the game coming in January.
You think that Mitch took it with him like intellectual property? C9 not allowed to use it anymore.
But if they can't play Mitch's game, if the Stratbook doesn't work without Mitch.
Yes. Jesus Christ. We keep giving the men credit for women's
that's
work.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay because you have to build an entire new playbook with how the meta is right now anyways, with how utils changed, with how you can't really have 3 segments of a round. It's kind of just once and then another hit again. So it's not, I don't think it's the worst change in the world for getting a whole new IGL.
I actually think it could make them it genuinely could make them better. This is the kind of change that could fix some of their mental problems that they have when crumbling and also add more firepower into the team because when you have Mitch and Net on a squad, you are relying pretty heavily on Oxy to be a massive fragger. If he has an off game, it can be a bit tough. Now, he actually did have a couple of off games from what I remember in the beginning of the playoffs in Stage 2, and they still managed to mitigate that because Net had a big upswing in performance. But it should be a bit more consistent if you can get a better fragging Sentinel player to join the team. Not that I know exactly
what my prediction for C9 is this year? Because obviously they're coming off 4th place, right? So they 4th place, 5th place technically with them, MIBR making all points. So, they got very close to making champs. Probably the closest they've been since 2023. I think what's going to happen this year is maybe they do get a little bit better with these changes, but the rest of Americas gets more better. And so they end up... And everyone will fucking lose their shit, going, oh, told you, you should have kept Mitch, what are you doing, all that stuff. Even though they potentially did get a little bit better, but everyone in America's also got better, and so they still don't quite make it, and people get mad.
Yeah, I think that's entirely possible. Do you want to dive into some other silly, useless drama? Because this one feels like there is a grievance, right? There's a genuine reason, like you were saying, TMV, to be annoyed. Tell me where the grievance is in this next one. Chronicle goes over to Vitality, and so Cron's contract was up with Fnatic. And so Fnatic knew that there'd be a tough negotiation period where they would have to try to re-sign him. Obviously, Fnatic's a great place to try to win trophies. We know that. but it's not like, from what we know, Fnatic are handing out money at the same rate as some of the, for example, North American orgs like an NRG or a G2, or this year probably an MIBR, Sentinels, those kind of teams. So you have two ways of keeping Cron. You have your checkbook and you have your reputation. And it seems quite likely that he might have been difficult to keep. As it turns out, he was difficult to keep. He went over to Vitality. It was being rumored and leaked and that kind of stuff. And so Vitality hopped on immediately to confirm it so that they can benefit from all of the news cycle that's occurring, instead of it, you know, going over to Sheep Esports or whatever. And Kojo and the CEO of Fnatic were not happy about that. Classless stuff. Not giving them an opportunity to say goodbye to Chronicle. Disgusting.
Who cares?
They can still say goodbye.
Yeah.
Like, just make your video.
He's still alive. You know, you can't just say like, bye Chronicle. Like, it's still, and like, this one, I don't know what, like, I don't know, like, they just come across as like who can, like, you, like, this is people thinking that like their fans are like, you know, ultra fans who they live, sleep and die Fnatic. And I'm sure there's some people there out there, but I feel like most, and this is one of the problems with esports, is that most esports fans are like, yeah, I like this team, but they don't fucking bleed. I don't bleed orange. You know, they're not like that. And it feels like, oh, we gotta. How fucking dare you not let us say goodbye? Like, like,
I don't even think it's that metal, bro. I think it's the most like mean.
Who gives a shit though,
Did you hear that Chronicle like literally left the team and they didn't even make a video, and the CEO immediately like just posted a tweet? Oh my god, that's crazy. Like, wolves go the wolves don't concern their opinions of the sheep or whatever the fuck the quote is, and just let them tweet, make your video, say goodbye twice. We're chilling.
Yeah.
Even make a little dig in the video if you want. Like, if you want to just get in a little dig there, you know, do that in the video. They'll be funny. Like,
I think certainly it's for the fans though, isn't it? Because there's no way that Chronicle is gonna take offense to that. Like, you know, Kojo could just speak to Chronicle directly and be like, yo, mate, like, they announced a bit quickly there. They didn't talk to us about it, but we've got like some nice stuff that we want to post about you in a week. You know, unfortunate, but sorry, you know, Vitality kind of messed that up. But I do think, like, cynically, it could be a good idea from Kojo's perspective to make a big deal about this, just so that if there was any fan lashback, you avoid it, you know?
Yeah.
You're not doing it because you're actually angry. You're doing it to signal to fans, don't get angry at us. Get angry at those classless bees over there. The hornets with no taste.
It also makes them, I think, look like they, you know, like, that they care a lot. You know, like, oh, we do care of Fnatic. You know, we do care about these things, which maybe they do. I mean, again, maybe you want to be cynical and just say, you know, it was all a PR stunt. But, you know, I think, again, you're right. Like, it directs the ire of away from management and towards Vitality. Classic redirection.
They're probably working on a lot of stuff too behind the scenes in terms of an actual video that was probably being like storyboarded. They've done like, you know, player face cards before and like amazing fan stuff that they're really invested in. So I assume that they're probably hurt that like that was taken away from them. At the same time, it's just not the biggest deal. I feel like the fans were also in a rage, just made it blow way out of proportion than actually. Yeah. Dudes just move the team. You know, the funny thing in my mind is like if Fnatic made less videos about people leaving and just tweeted, maybe they could pay Cron to stay. You know, it's a whole thing. But that's just mean. That's just mean.
In fact, they should use that money to pay TMV, I've heard.
Oh, you had the first letter right, but instead of MV,
Tier 2.
It's a 2.
Tier 2.
Tier 2.
Yeah. Yes. Why are we hiring video editors for Tier 1? We should be getting rid of their jobs and giving the money to Tier 2. Yes. Yes. What is a bit weird about this situation, though, as well, is that Vitality made a big song and dance about Chronicle as soon as they got him. Presumably, the reports are out that they also have Yampi and Profek joining Vitality. Radio silence from Vitality on that front, though. I mean, maybe they haven't officially signed. Maybe BBL are dragging their feet over it or something, because those guys were under contract Therefore, Chronicle was a straight up free agent. So as soon as you get the okay from Chronicle, that's it. You don't have to coordinate with Fnatic at all if you don't want to, because he literally isn't signed with them. Whereas for BBL, Yampi and Profek were both under contract, so there is maybe more of a process where you have to agree on a buyout, you have to make sure the buyout's actually gone through, then you have to draft the new contracts. All of that might take longer, but it definitely did seem funny that they were just like, no, we got Chronicle. they literally their announcement was, we won the off-season, we got Chron, which I think is just really fucking funny.
It's really like Key and Peele sketchy with the other two players, where you shake hands with Yampi, shake hands with Profek, and then dap up Chronicle, people coming in taking pictures, and then you move on, shake hands.
Yeah,
oh, man.
It is funny. I mean, that roster though, we're gonna ask the same question later on. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna save it for then. All right.
What's the last thing that's on fire, Josh? Because I've fire extinguished one thing, fire blanketed the other.
Okay.
This next fire is just it's a bonfire now. What's going on?
Well, we're not sure actually about it. We can see it from long distance.
How is this got in the show?
There's smoke, but we don't know if there's fire. There's certainly something going on, and we should send our best to go and investigate it. But unfortunately, we've only got TMV. But we're going to go and send him to investigate Wolves to see if everything actually is on fire. Because apparently they are going to be getting Yosemite and Satoshi. So Satoshi was one of the duelists, I should say, for Rare Atom, because they were playing with Shyo as well. Shay's gone over to... What's your problem?
Well, I think me and TMV are both having the same thought, that you skipped over the thing that's actually on.
Oh, apologies, dude. I was just intrigued in seeing TMV.
No, let's stick with Wolves.
If you want to skip to that, we can skip to that. Actually, we'll come back to this later. We can talk about.
No, you know what? No. Let's not skip it. But we'll get round to it anyway. So, okay. I mean, TMV. What do you think? What do you think about the Wolves scenario?
I think we'll be good.
You think Wolves will be good?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because we're the fucking Wolves! Oh!
Okay. Well,
though, actually, speaking on this topic, there are rumors and reports that the Wolves' ownership of the football team might sell the football team. There's because it's not going well for Wolves, the football team. Let me just tell you that. They're not very good. They're probably going to get relegated. It's not looking very good. And so the Wolves fans, those people, when the Wolves is going oh, we finished third in Masters Toronto, and all those people responding with, we don't fucking care, sign a new right back. All those people. Well, those people now are chanting, sell the team. Now they want the Chinese ownership to be out. So that could be quite interesting to see, because maybe Wolves have to rebrand it. Because I assume if they do sell Wolves the football team, they wouldn't be called Wolves Esports anymore.
Yeah, presumably.
So
that's so sad.
That might lead to something quite interesting. I kind of hope that doesn't happen for me specifically, but for the Wolves football team fans out there, they definitely do want it to happen. Just now,
because
go on, Shyo.
I was just gonna say, small thing at kickoff, we potentially lose the perspective, or I guess at Chile, Ulf versus Wolves.
Yeah,
I was hoping for it.
Yeah, that was sick. Now, if you run a
Team Solid Liquid as well.
Oh yeah, Team Solid and Team Liquid. If you run a clips channel and you're looking for some free revenue, TMV. Clip that segment. TMV exposes Wolves' ownership and why they're going to leave forever.
It's going to be the title. It's literally going to be in the thumbnail.
Now, TMV hates those clips channels, and he started a tirade recently. This is the other thing that's absolutely
blown
on
out of
fire.
Proportion, specifically by the two people sitting over here.
TMV has been ranting and raving for the last week while co-streaming Ascension about clips channels stealing literal pennies from his pocket. Not even. They're probably adding value.
Not me. It's got nothing
You're the
to
one
do with
complaining.
Me.
Oh, right. So this is his other bit where he claims, oh no, poor little Curtis, poor little whoever, oh no. But really, he's got a vendetta against clip channels, including AloneVal. And he got exposed this week. Absolutely exposed by them.
No, not exposed by them. See, because again, you again, this all gets blown out of proportion. Everyone, Sideshow and Shyo wager. I mean, you should work for these clip channels because you're very good at making something out of nothing. Making a drama where none exists. I was just highlighting the fact that I don't think these clip channels, and I understand these clip channels are a way for for people to potentially
backtracking Barry. Backpedaling Barry.
Find something? No. I understand and accept that.
Word for word, like sue them all.
Yeah.
I hope they burn.
He said, "I'll DMCA take down them all."
I hope they burn. I didn't say I would sue them. I said I'd sue you, Shyo, but not them. I never claimed that. But I just think do they when they're taking Plat Chat clips and you could just watch Plat Chat, and Josh is shaking his head saying, that it's fine. But, and maybe at this small level it is fine, but I'm sure Josh wouldn't feel the same, and I know how much he loves money. In fact, I've got some evidence of that as well, that I won't share with you, but in the Vodfathers chat that we've got, there's some evidence of how much he does care about money. Anyway, with that said, I'm sure if these clips were getting more views than Plat Chat, I'm sure little Wilkinson over here, next to me, over here, I'm sure he'd be saying, we got to probably do something about this. Kurt, I think we should make some shorts and make sure that people, watch our shorts rather than, watching these clip channels if they were getting more views than Plat Chat. So it's one of those things where at a certain level.
No.
Yet, I know how much he loves money, Shyo. Again, let me do the test. Let me do the bastard
viewing
test.
It from a cynical perspective. Like, you just look at AloneVal, and if AloneVal has 8 million views a short for the Plat Chat stuff that's happening, and Plat Chat has 200K views, just bring in AloneVal. Yo, brother.
Yeah.
Run the
I'm not against that. Yeah. That's perfectly fine.
That.
I'm not against it. No.
He wants to DMCA strike. Listen, we know what we've seen. He wants to DMCA strike them all. He wants to get rid of their jobs. He wants to cut all the video editors.
To prove that this wasn't a drama, though, at some point, you guys said, what if he clips this now and turns this into a video? And I said, that would be very funny. And then he did it, and it was very funny. And I commented on that video saying, this is your best work, proving that, again, there is no vendetta.
He's going to copyright strike the channel for using his face.
Yeah,
that's not true.
That's what's coming next.
That's not true.
What's coming next. I'm telling you.
Look, Mr. Moneybags over here. He's pretending now that he wouldn't care. He would. Trust me. I know. I've seen some of the things this guy says.
Well, TMV's got 4 homes because he's the ultra wealthy. So let's go to Homefathers and try to find some homes for these players to live in.
For the homeless.
Because we've got 3 beautiful little baby children here who desperately need a home.
4,
sorry. Okay.
It's 4. Mitch and his girlfriend now.
Of course, right. So So the first one then is Mitch and his girlfriend. So Mitch, famed IGL, his girlfriend who built the Stratbook for C9 as well. So where are they going? Where would actually be a good place for Mitch to land?
Okay. Hear me out.
C9.
We need somewhere that has a little bit of vacancy in terms of almost 2 people now, you know what I'm saying? So it has to be an emptier roster with potential for maybe another pickup. To see we're getting Mitch, I want to pick up someone else. So it has to have a little room. It has to be a roster that's trying new things, maybe picked up a few other people and added them to the home as well. So is open to, dealing with orphans, dealing with people that haven't had a home in the past. I'm thinking, Team Secret Mitch.
Team Secret?
Yeah.
Who are looking currently for a duelist and nothing else.
They're not looking for an IGL.
I don't believe they're looking for an IGL right now.
Don't they have 2 open slots?
We'll make them open slots.
Isn't Kelly's Envy and Sylvan and that's it?
So at the moment, Team Secret have said that they are playing off-season tournaments with Sylvan, Jesse Vash, Envy, Kelly S, and then Prodigy. And then Famous as their stand-in 5th as a duelist. So that would imply that Jesse Vash is still going to be on the team as
but I think Jesse isn't playing. And we put in Mitch and you find a duelist. Bada bing, bada boom, Team Secret's in the room.
Okay.
It's not a bad shout. I've got one as well. Well, I think when we're looking at this question, America's his home region isn't looking so good. Right? I think that He might need to be a little bit like an orphan in World War II, you know, get on a train, go pretty far away from, you know, where he originally started, like Narnia, for instance. And to do that, I am going to pick another Pacific team that potentially, not officially, but maybe he leaked this to us anyway, the coach of global esports might be American. What if he brings in an American IGL to start building his team? Global esports.
Global esports. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is assuming too. So last year, correct me if I'm wrong, did they have... Crystal was not actually calling for global.
Kelly S was calling at first.
Yeah, it was Kelly.
Then I think Crystal was once Kelly S left.
Well, Crystal's leaving now.
But then Crystal's, and the rumor is that Crystal's going over to Carmen Corp or something, isn't it? Is it not?
I think so, yeah, somewhere near me for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of cooking, to be honest. I think that Mitch would be a good pickup for a team like that. And I think the Pacific's the kind of region where you could surround him with some nasty fraggers. I think that would be a decent idea.
All right.
I like
What
that.
do you think, Josh?
Well, I was going to give the more negative take that it's kind of too late, but you know what? I think you've opened my eyes that there are actually possibilities. I was just thinking too narrow-mindedly, and I was thinking that Mitch would probably be going back down to playing in North American Tier 2.
Well, that's the thing. If he does stay in Americas, yeah, the options are looking pretty limited, I think, there.
But at the same time, North American Tier 2 is a pretty fucking good place to be. If you're a caller that is proven in the sense that, like, Mitch has played
once the
on...
Fnatic video editor money gets there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, but the money actually next year should be decent too. Maybe it'll take a couple of years for people to realize the changes in the system and how beneficial they are. Maybe it'll take a bit of time for that to trickle down to player salaries. But I think getting somebody like Mitch gives you a great floor to be able to work from. Maybe he's not the highest like ceiling caller that you could get for a team, but I think he's an extremely solid floor to be able to qualify for one of those spots towards the end of the year and potentially get to champs. I mean, the carrot on the stick is like the carrot on the stick. The carrot, not the stick. I mean, can you imagine Riot using a stick to promote Tier 2? If you don't sign a Tier 2 org, we'll beat you. If the carrot has increased massively this year, so I think it should mean that people like Mitch, if they wanted to play in Tier 2, actually it's more of a like, it's actually like a pretty good system down there for 2026, and he's not under 18.
Who's the next on the list? We've found Mitch 3 potential nice homes.
Yeah.
Who's the next on the list? All across the world. I can't believe what the Vodfathers have done.
Location, basically, isn't it?
So good. Wow. Who's the next person that needs a home?
Knock. For the next client. Hello, my name's Demon1. I'm an extremely talented player. I'm a world champion. I was the MVP of that team, probably, when they won. But for some reason, no one wants to sign me, even though I've made a really smart move over to the Sentinel role.
And can you definitely play the Sentinel role, Mr. Demon1?
Have you not been watching my Pro City VODs? I've been farming.
Demon1, there's some allegations here that you didn't win a single clutch on the championship stage, given that your teammates didn't speak the same language. Why wasn't that possible?
Okay, first off, I was thrown into that DRG team very last minute. I was extremely enthusiastic about the way in which I took to the media opportunities presented to me. I promoted the bundle. I promoted the fuck out of the bundle for an org that I knew I wasn't going to stay with long term. And I actually played pretty damn well in the matches too, I'll have you know. I mean, you can talk all you like about us not winning a map or whatever, but at the same time, I'm putting up over a 1.0 rating on average. I went up against G2 and I was the best performing player. What more do you want from a guy who's standing in and can't speak Chinese?
Mr. Demon1, I'm reading here that the Sentinel class is dead. How do you respond to this allegation?
I'm a former duelist player. I've got insane aim. I'll make it work, buddy.
Mr. Demon1, I'm reading here that you can only play Jet on the duelist role.
Untrue. untrue. And I'd like you to, just to return back to the previous conversation that we were having, the Sentinel role is not dead. The Sentinel role is now contact Sentinels, which I'm fucking goated at. Have you ever seen a player with more Chamber played in their lifetime as me? 145 maps of Chamber, 3,090 rounds of Chamber. I will win you games single-handedly on Chamber. That yay guy, washed. Me, goated. Get me in. All I'm asking is a chance.
Mr. Demon1, have you ever heard of the rumor that Omen is too strong and therefore they should nerf Chamber?
What are you saying?
The Chamber will not exist in any playable state anytime soon because Riot will nerf Chamber whenever given the opportunity. What I'm worried about, Mr. Demon1, is you clearly have some talent. That is undeniable.
A lot
of talent. And I'm willing to accept that. But you have not demonstrated the ability to fit within a team structure and really solidify yourself on a team for quite some time at this point.
No one's given me a fuck-ass chance.
NRG just won champs with Ethan IGLing. Who did you blame for your failures on that org?
Now, because this is a job interview, I'm not going to flame the fuck out of you, but that was a really, really unfair question. Because that version of NRG in 2024 was in no way comparable to this version of NRG that won in 2025.
Is that because
you know what? Here, let me spin it for you. Ethan's calling did improve enormously. I've been loving watching Ethan play, winning champs. I wish I was up there with him. But you know what? Just as he's grown as a caller and now has your respect, I've grown as a player. I just haven't been able to demonstrate it to you because I haven't been given the chance. Now, please, get me in touch with Cloud9. Get me in touch with Cloud9. They need a Senti with big fragging power, and they've just hired Zellsis to go in there. Like, dude, I'm cold.
I'm sorry, Mr. Demon1. Cloud9 have told us that if you haven't lived with them for 5 years, you cannot play for that org, is what they have told us. So, we can send you back to EG. I'm happy to rubber stamp you back to EG. Do you want to sign for EG?
Is MIBR looking? I mean, I was going crazy with Aspas in Pro City.
They got Tex, I think, right? Is that what got signed up?
Tex took my spot. Good luck to him. Good luck to him. No,
there's a Dusty dossier here that has 2 missing players though that are kind of crazy. They're very talented. They're young. TMV. I'm not sure if I want to give him this dossier. It has an N on it, a blue N.
Oh.
It might not be the same role he needs, but is this where he could fit? What do you think?
It's an interesting one. Present it to him and see what he says.
What are your thoughts on poppin' swinging?
Poppin' swinging?
Yeah.
Now, what
are your thoughts on permanently playing Clove like a madman? We need that. This is what the team needs.
Now, I would like a team. I'm not going to lie to you, it doesn't fit my resume perfectly, but I would love a team.
So, the controllers in 2026, would you be open to playing that role?
I have played quite a bit of controller before. I was a demon on Brimstone. I'd need to get up to scratch on Omen. My Astra is also really, really good. So, like...
They don't play... Gotta be mobile. Astra is not allowed. That's a no-no word.
Can you play Clove?
Can you play Clove?
Can I play Clove and run at people? Yes. Yeah.
Do you wear wigs?
No.
Have you worn wigs?
No.
Will you wear wigs? I think Envious Demon1, I think, is a for-sure shout in Americas. If they're looking for someone, they need high...
Well, let's ask Demon1. Demon1, do you want to sign with Envy or EG?
Envy or EG?
Whoa. Wait a minute. TMV, we forgot to look at his follower count and what he did to DRG. Now, this is a clouded individual. He could take space on teams that have high expectations for players and need that big name. Chronicle just left Fnatic.
Shut up.
My colleague here has lost his mind. EG or Envy?
Now, this is going to be a controversial take, but I don't think I fit perfectly within that Envy system. I don't think I have the flexibility to pick up Kane's role, even though I could run it down on Clove. And I don't play Omen, and I've been practicing Senti for the last few months. So I'll take the role on EG if you don't mind.
Let's run it back. 2026 champs. Here we go. Stamp approved.
Presumably that isn't what's happening, though, because he has been tweeting as if he's out of teams, and it does feel like he would have just been talking to EG like first, right? So
I would have assumed so.
It is odd.
It might be a December thing. I feel like it's one of those last minute like trials didn't work out for a team on a certain player, and they might try Demon1 at like a discounted rate for him because he's desperate to find a team.
Yeah. I can understand him not like necessarily gelling instantly with the Cloud9 atmosphere, but I do think he'd be scary good on that team. I think they could make some really good stuff happen with a player with his quality.
Who's the last player that we need to find a home?
Oh, I think I'll take this role. Knock, knock, knock.
Hello?
Hello there. I somehow got kicked off the team despite being the best player on my team. Help me find a home.
What's your name? Hello, who are you?
My name is eeiu. Formerly of 100 Thieves.
Right, I see. So you're the guy who needed Asuna to tell him when to throw a tether, is that right?
That was Asuna. Look, if you knew Asuna, you'd know that was not anything to do with me. That was all to do with him. Sometimes he can get a little bit excited.
I see. So you didn't exactly mesh with the... Well, I mean, listen. You're a more passive style of initiator. You're a little bit baity. Is that fair to say?
I think it's fair to say that initiators should want to live. And I am very good at that.
Now, I'm just looking here. Your role has been gutted. It doesn't exist in the game anymore. People are not looking for the best level of this agent anymore. They're putting people's sisters, dogs, anyone on this role just to throw one thing now in the round, and it's kind of done. We actually need people on this role to bait less and entry more, because you don't have abilities anymore, eeiu. So how are you going to change things up?
Listen here, bucko. You go try and play fucking Valorant without a recon, okay? You go into that fucking game. Go into your ranked games. Ever played ranked before? Ever played ranked with a Clove, a Reyna, a fucking Killjoy, a fucking double, triple duelist raised jet? Go fucking play a VCT game with that. You know why? It never fucking happens. You know why? Because Recon is fucking goated. And everyone's going to be playing Recon, so get a fucking goated Recon player. I was the best fucking player on my team by a fucking mile. And somehow, the big brains of fucking 100 Thieves thought that was a good idea.
Your language is disgusting, by the way.
It's actually rancid.
This is a job
Demon1's
interview.
is. Demon1's was. He fucking won champs. I'll win champs. I'm a winner.
You should not have been eavesdropping at the keyhole and listening to Demon1's interview. That's actually a contravention of your data protection rights. Speaking of which, though, now this is the job.
Speaking of data protection, right?
No. Speaking of Demon1, now the job that we didn't offer to him. Okay, we didn't offer this spot at Cloud9 because actually, Zellsis is going to be picking up the Sentinel.
Zellsis?
Zellsis is the caller on Cloud9. Have you been living under a rock, mate?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were still at Sentinels. Speaking of which, get me on Sentinels.
So what I could offer you a position playing Scan Initiator for Cloud9 with Zellsis calling from the Sentinel role. If you're in... Now, you're making a face.
That's because I've only met Imi once. And so I'm just not sure that I'll probably get kicked straight away for Vanity or something, no?
I mean, maybe. Do you not think that you could outperform Vanity in a trial?
Does it matter on Cloud9?
It's a great point. You might not be the right fit.
Who's helping Oxy hit a site?
I could help him. Oh, don't get me wrong, Cloud9. Yes, you should definitely sign me. I would be the best player for you. I'm just a little bit worried about how some of the roster decisions get made there sometimes.
Now, pictures on Sentinels. Sentinels is a big, clouted organization, and we're not sure you're the right fit. You tend to go under the radar a lot. I'd say in terms of players, you're underrated, which for Sentinels is not a good thing, because we've got money. We like overrated players with big names, big brands.
What are Sentinels all about? They're all about the story. And this is exactly how I fit into the Sentinels story. You see, the fans, when you sign me Sentinels, the fans are going to be like, man, there's better players out there. We could have got something else. They're going to be looking at our roster and thinking, man, this roster isn't that good. So when we go and hit the big time, like they did in Madrid, remember Madrid when everyone's stocks on Sentinels was a bit low and then they won the first international? Let's run back the story. It rhymes. It's like poetry. Sign EU.
Okay. Can you wait till stage 1 starts? Can you miss the... Because I like what I'm hearing here. They're going to look at the roster and they're going to go, ew, ew. And then they'll make the change. It makes sense. But you'll have to wait till stage 1.
Why will I have to wait till stage 1?
Because you have to experience the roster being bad first to get your good in. You got to let the people say, ew.
I think I would be willing to miss kickoff, yes.
Would you be willing to only play kickoff?
Ooh.
No.
If it meant being signed to a pretty fat check to Vitality? We need somebody to fill in on Vitality until Sayonara gets there.
Who's playing on Vitality with me?
We've got Durka picking up the duelist role. Then we've got Yampy picking up Flex. We've got Profek
Isn't Yampy
on
a solo
smokes.
player these days?
Yampy's an anything player, man.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't stress your little head. Then we've got we've got Durka, we've got Yampy.
I think I heard Profek was going to that team.
Yeah, Profek's going to that team. He's a smokes player though. EU, you really have been living under a rock, haven't you? What are you worried about?
I don't watch
Profek
the
for?
shit regions.
Well, can you pay for your own plane flight? Because, I don't know, Enzo exists. Like, they could pick up a bunch of people just to fill in the role for, like, a little bit.
Unfortunately,
Or a little
100
bit less
Thieves only
costly.
sold 2 jumpers whilst I was with them, so I actually can't afford the plane fight.
Right, well, it's that or you're playing in tier 2 with Envy Academy.
Man, I'm way too good to play in tier 2.
You are way too good. I agree. But there's no, listen, you shouldn't have gotten cut from 100 Thieves then. You should have learned to IGL, I guess. So you wouldn't
How
get
am I
replaced by
meant to
Vora.
make sense of what they're doing? You tell me what they're doing. Do you agree with their
signing
decisions?
TSM? Well,
Do you think that they're a well-run team?
They want a good IGL, and you weren't offering them IGL in. It doesn't matter how good you are at Initiator.
Sean
you're
Gaz
gonna get
wanted to
replaced.
cut me because none of my plays look suspicious.
Surely that would be the reason for keeping you. The replay client's out now.
I wonder how that video would have been with the replay client. Oh my god! But okay,
I think we've found
We
a
might
job.
have found
We've
EU
found
a
a
home.
role. We've found a home.
Yeah,
So I'm going to
yellow stamp on
Vitality
your-
for a kickoff.
No, you're not going to Vitality. You're going to one of the previous teams. You can go to Cloud9. Honestly,
Okay.
I think that's the best place
Okay.
for you.
Yellow stamp on your dossier. I don't know. -3 points for your Uber driver, and your lawyer gets put into a salad bowl. If people will understand the reference. We have to wait till 2027 when they repartnerize the teams. Maybe EU gets locked in somewhere. That's my hot take. Take a year off. Go just learn how to IGL. Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to move us on. I've got a question for you that I was going to ask earlier on. So let's get in touch with the fathers at home. Let's get cozy out here.
Shouldn't this be the new Tenants?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Wait,
Because
Why is there
we
a
got-
milk bottle?
Got
Yeah, yeah,
Homefathers and fathers at home?
yeah, this is fathers at home. All right. 2 questions. Here's the first one. Are Vitality, now that they have Chronicle, super team worthy? If the roster...
No.
Okay, well, moving on.
sorry. Go
Why?
ahead, go ahead, finish it.
Why are they? If they have players such as Durka, Chronicle,
2.
Yampy, Profek,
Whoa,
Sayonara,
whoa.
what stops that from being a super team in your head?
The last 3 names.
Yeah. They're like a one trick. They're like a. Look,
we
I don't know how
look,
to.
Super team. This we always throw this phrase about in the offseason. Every single offseason there has to be a super team. And almost every single one of them is not a super team. Lev with Aspas on it was not a super team, it was just a team that had Aspas on it. Right?
That's a super team though. That's crazy.
Cloud9 when they got Ye in 2023 was just Cloud9 with Ye. and it barely existed, but people were calling it a super team, but it was just Cloud9 with Ye. Fnatic is the one super team. You might argue as well to some extent that PaperX have kind of been a super team in terms of SEA talent as well. But that I think is about where the list runs out. And having two GOATed players makes you a team with two GOATed players. Now maybe Sayonara, if he pops the fuck off, we'll start getting close, but that's still yet to be seen.
Well,
you gotta think of it like a Megazord from Power Rangers. Like if all pieces of that Zord have to be of equal power, you can't have puny legs and two big arms.
I feel
like that's what this team is.
I think a super team can get away with one puny arm.
Yeah.
I think you could get away
with one puny arm, I think.
But right now we have one puny leg, one puny arm, and another puny leg.
I mean, this is not to say by any means, right, that Vitality look like they've constructed a bad roster. The players are still extremely good. It's just that...
No, to Megazord, your power level needs to be high. Like, to be a Megazord, that's the whole thing.
Okay, well then...
Some teams just have the Rangers.
That roster last year looked more super team than this one.
I agree, except that I disagreed with that version of the super team because I think when you swap Safe onto a different role, he's not a superstar unless he's on Duelist. So it doesn't... so that was my problem with the previous one. But I agree with you. If we're going to... That one was just getting a bit picky. That one did feel like they were trying at the very least to build a super team. This one feels more like they're trying to build a functional team.
Functional.
But who's the closest player to graduating then? Would you say it's Sayonara?
No.
Because I actually think it's Yampi. I think Yampi is close to becoming what could push that team to becoming a super team. If it's calling, if he can control that entire team, like the best orchestra guy ever, the Bradley Cooper movie guy, I don't know who he played. Dude, it goes crazy, no?
I think he's the closest, because the others are Profek, who has had, one good season, really, and Sayonara, who's a rookie. So you can't,
But he needs to take them deep in multiple tournaments before people start.
He'd have to have a whole year of excellence,
Yeah, that's like an IGL.
Because he already... Last year, his IGLing was really good. I don't think people talk about it enough. I think Yampi was fantastic at IGLing last year. I think there was just so many things he was doing beautifully. But that was only 1 year. I got a follow-up question, though, because MIBR looked like the team that actually might have been the second true super team that we've had built in Valorant, I think, after the Fnatic one of 2023. When they signed Aspas, then Zekken, and they already have Verno, who's been a solid fragger and good caller. So, like, he's not a super team player in and of himself necessarily, because we've only seen 1 year of him performing at a high level. But he certainly doesn't drag, you out of super team contention, I think. Then they've added Mazzino, who was the MVP of Stage 2 2024, I want to say, in Americas, something like that, for like his flex play, harbor play, that kind of stuff. He's had years and years of being a super good flex player, though maybe you could quibble about whether he's been like best in the world at his slot for a long period of time. And then they've also added Tex into the roster too, who's had, a top 3 result at Champs. This is
not a super team. This is Lev 2024 mostly.
Okay, but
second.
No, I would have to disagree with this one.
You described Lev 2024 as, a team with Aspas. Now this is a team with Aspas.
This is a team with Aspas
and Zekken. That's going a bit further than the others.
No, and Verno activated like that.
Yeah, but the thing that you're not considering is that King is like King as your IGL is up there. Verno, as you say, is still like, we'll see. Maybe, like you say, it doesn't drag you down. But I think if like on the Lev team, people were going like, oh, it's King with Aspas. Like if on that Lev team you also added in Zekken, I could maybe see it. I think they're one away. There may be one away.
No, I would disagree. I think as Mazzino being on flex is very important in a meta where you're gonna have to be switching a lot. At least one specific one on your team might have to. Nah, man, there's no way. Tex can slot in and learn like Vito or like Chamber or some other.
I'm not saying they'll be a bad team.
But what else do you need? Like, you have one of the best flexes in the world. You've got Verno, who for some reason you think doesn't have the capabilities of being that.
Our MIBR definitely better than G2.
Hold on. A super team is not about whether or not they're definitely going to be better. It's whether or not the players that you've assembled are unbelievably stacked players, because there are plenty of super teams that fail. You can be a super team and be shit. It's just like, and
no, but their expectation should be straight out of the gate. A super team should straight out of the gate be, we should be the best team in our region and we should be finishing top 4 in every international. That's what your expectation should be for any super team.
Yes, okay, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're saying that there's only one super team per region then? Or can
No, you can have multiple super teams per region if you want.
And they would be fighting over
MIBR
that.
beat G2? Yeah, I think they could.
Are the expectations for them to be able to win against G2? I think a lot of people would expect them to be able to at least hang. I mean, G2 have been... The thing is, though, I'm on the edge about this one. Now, normally I come fairly definitively down on one side or another when it comes to these super teams, but my quibble with this one is it's got one puny leg, which is Tex. But it's also got Verno, who's not as... Like, he's only had less than a year as a full IGL. He didn't even IGL the entire year. Ardazim was doing the majority of it at the beginning. He only IGL'd towards the end of the year. And he doesn't actually have that many years of proving he's a top scan initiator player either. Now, he did do that at the tier 2 level, and he was fantastic. And then he came to the tier 1 level and basically was fantastic the entire time, apart from one little dip during stage 2. His Toronto was still amazing when everyone else was shit in the bed. His beginning of the year was really, really good as well. His champs was really good on top of that. So he's had one period of slight inconsistency. I think you could get away with calling this a super team and still be like, yeah, but Tex is the obvious outlier.
Even with Tex at the outlying station, it's okay for him to be the outlier in a meta where his role doesn't do that much. He just has to slot in, put his prep utility down, and you're chilling. Verno doesn't need to be a crazy mid-rounder either. If you have Zek and an Osboss, and you have a little bit of sense how to control them, and you yourself are a fragger who out-frags Osboss sometimes, and other people on other teams as well, if you're popping off that consistently, that's just 3 players. Then you got Mazzino in the business too. With just those 3, I think you could call it a super team. Add Mazzino, it's going way over the barrier of what you need.
I want to ask TMV, if they had Leaf instead of Tex, would you call it a super team?
Yeah, they're one away.
As in, right.
If they're one super team-esque player away from being called a super team, I think. So yeah.
Okay.
Because I think
but would you...
It's that bar.
If they didn't have Verno and instead they had, I mean, who's the best initiator caller in the world? To be honest, I'm not exactly sure who it really is. I mean, maybe run with me here and let's go for like Sardak, but like Prime Sardak. So we're talking Sardak from like
Prime
2
Sardak.
years ago, something like that. So you've got Prime Sardak.
Prime Sardak would be close.
Current 10s.
I would accept someone saying that.
Right, because he would have so much history of like leading teams to great finishes. Again, if we're talking about
that's just
Sadak
a lot
from a
of
couple of years
respect for
ago.
Prime Sadak, yeah.
Right. Because I
like
really
Prime
do
Sadak,
feel like
most people thought was
right
the clear
edge.
IGL go. Like people put Prime Sadak over Boaster and FNS.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I want to hear from the people. I want to hear from the people about this one because I think. Well, yeah, because most people were happy to call it a super team even when they've got like 2 good players.
Oh, ask about science for a team and it becomes a super team. The people were ready to call JDG a super team.
Should we ever check in with some new tenants?
Yeah, let's see who's upstairs, who's just pedaling their feet.
Who's fucking loud? Stop the fucking banging.
New tenants.
Shyo, lead us in.
Yeah, let's actually blast through this one because I'm not as interested because I want to just go through some spicy takes on these, all right?
Okay.
I feel like you could talk about this for 3 hours. We don't have that time. Might later. But let's tap in Envy versus TSM. When it comes to this matchup, were you guys surprised at seeing at the way at which Envy won?
Kane was genuinely unwell, I think. Like, at the beginning of the tournament, I was ready to buy into...
strange way to start.
Yeah, but at the beginning of the tournament, I was like, wow, Kane is really underperforming my expectations of what people were talking about. And then I looked at the stats, and he was a bottom 3 player at the tournament. And I was like, what the hell is going on out there?
He ended up with a 0.99 rating.
Yeah, well, maybe he's just a land choker or something. Yeah, okay, he ended up with that rating. Now look, if you just take out the games where he was unwell at the beginning, because apparently he had some kind of sickness, and he was frying. In order to get his stats back up to basically an average level, he played like poo at the start and played like God at the end. So I think that made a huge difference, to be honest, in terms of their ability to get past TSM. Because once he started like feeling comfortable, playing aggressive, taking fights, hitting shots, I mean, he's just winning so many decisive duels in a round.
And then TMV.
Well,
so, or you can respond. Yeah.
So I went back and watched a couple of these maps for the video that I made yesterday, and I think at the time I didn't fully. And sometimes you do realize this when you go back and watch the VOD. I think TSM played quite bad. I think they played worse than I have seen them play before. I think they choked a little bit. Certain rounds that they had on a couple of the maps, I just thought were like, this is not good. Like, this is like, especially on bind. Like, their level on bind, and I know that Envy are a very good team on bind, but TSM's level on bind was quite bad. Like, really quite poor. So I was a little, like, when I went back and watched it, I think TSM might be a little bit disappointed that they didn't. I think that they will feel like they didn't play at their very best. Otherwise, I think they might have been able to win.
The streets are saying then, TMV, because on that note, that one of the easiest things Envy could do, because they're losing two of their players, is pick up the gaps through TSM and just add them to that to their roster and play with that to start off with. Do you sign? Are you a co-signer on this document and this movement?
I don't think it would be the worst idea to maybe pick some of them up. I think, you know, I want to defer to the guy who loves Seven more than anyone else, who's sitting across from me, and tell you why they should pick up Seven.
No, but I don't think they should pick up Seven, because I think that Seven, because
I love us to hate us.
I think Seven's a fantastic player, and I think in most other teams, I think he'd fill the flex role beautifully. I think if you're looking for a flex in North America, you're looking for a player like Seven. Unfortunately, Envy do not really have a flex player so much as a secondary, very aggressive fragging duelist flex. Like, it's super different. Seven's playing a lot of KO, a lot of Sage, a lot of like, he's still playing aggro, he's still looking for a lot of kills, but he's not sending it like Kane.
You wouldn't have to play Yori on that team though.
Yeah, true. I think that Kane is a very difficult player to replace. I was thinking about this after they won, because he only turns 18 in June or July or something, so they're going to have to play the majority of the season without him, and they're going to have to play the whole season without Ion. Ion, you might be able to get a replacement for that, but Kane's tough to replace, I think. It's tough to find somebody. I think you've got to just drag a different team's duelist in there, basically, and allow Exeter to make a ton of space for them. But I don't know who that is, because I'm not as tapped into the tier 2 scene, to be honest.
Okay. No, definite questions. I think it's just all about who's replacing who on Envy, and does the TSM roster have a little bit of an inkling of, do we want to pick up some of these players in tier 1 when space is already so limited? Speaking of people getting picked apart, BBL Pacific beating Dynasty. Banger match to start off with, I think, on the Lotus, and then we went to Stompage. And the Sunset also, it shows a close score, but I think BBL stomped that map as well, and then just had trouble closing it out on the second half. And then Corrode as well. I think by that time we were rambling about other shit in general inside the call, because BBL was just taking things by storm. My question for this one is, I feel like, or my take is, BBL's team is going to be the most picked apart by EU teams looking for members, and this team will not survive an Ascension playing together as their proper core. Larocque, Loida specifically, I think are two people that will just get completely taken away with big salaries. I think Cruin is the next step over there. Maybe Lovers Rock, but there's other duelists that play the game too. What is your take on that statement, that this team will not survive the tier 2 Ascension up to tier 1?
The vultures are circling.
The vultures will circle, but I actually think that whilst they won't be able to find as good players as those players, and so they probably will struggle a little bit, my video today is about how EMEA and Pacific, but EMEA is getting overtaken by Turkish talent. Like, half the league is Turkish talent at this point. And the same is true in Pacific. Like, half the league is Korean players. And so I do think, like, if you just look at the general what's out there. Because again, we don't know who the other names in the Turkish tier 2 scene are, but I'm sure I'm sure the Pacific people do, right? Because they played against them all year. So would it shock me if they could find 2 or 3 other players from the rest of Turkish tier 2 that are pretty good? No, probably not, because most of the league has, like, most of the players coming up to the league, even on non-Turkish teams, is that anyway.
By the way, they already managed to ascend after the Vultures had picked Comeback off.
Comeback was already,
Comeback
so they've already survived
sent over to Gentle
Vulture.
Mates, and then Team Heretics has picked up the corpse as well of Gentle Mates and grabbed Comeback.
Team Heretics
off.
have 3 Turkish players now. They're a Turkish org.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's entirely possible that Fnatic are going to have another Turkish player as well,
exactly.
right? Because people are contemplating Larocque going over to
So it's like
to Fnatic.
So yes, losing these players obviously is going to be bad for them. You'd be better keeping these players because we know these players are very good. But will they be like completely shite? I think probably not, because it seems to me pretty probable there are other Turkish players out there who will be good at the very least.
Also,
there always seems to be.
Also, I don't know how Ulf would potentially survive that as well, because again, if you're looking for, like, obviously BBL are more likely to harvest Pacific players because they were affiliated before they ascended, so that could happen. But I think when you look at the Ulf team as well, Echo just seems super good too. Like, if you're looking at Ascenti, I think I'd be looking at Echo even above Creven. I don't know, they're both incredibly good, but Echo's been extremely impressive. And then I'd have Loiter over Ordaz, but I still think Ordaz is really good as well. And Sop's been incredibly powerful on Duelist.
This could be a Thanksgiving episode with the amount of turkey we have in here, because the next team that's ascending as well, Ulf, Sop, Echo, primarily, I think the 2 highlights of that team. Sop with some crazy aggressive plays. I don't know if I've seen that many, like, neon overdrives activated in a series, man. It was fucking nuts. But this was also a little bit of a stomp. The Sunset went OT. I don't really remember this matchup as much as talking through it again with CMV, with Sideshow catching up on the VOD on the side. But, like, it was stompy. It was stompy at the end of the day. Is Echo and Sop the last 2 that you see from here? And on the other side of things, Kellox, Hype, and Taka specifically as well. Do you see these 3 players being picked up by any EMEA teams? Is it hopeless for the second placers once again? A TSM-ish situation? What's your guys' take on mandatory?
If there was going to be anybody to pick up mandatory players, I would imagine that it would be Gentle Mates. Maybe KC. But Gentle Mates have already signed 2 duelists. They already have Martin and Bipo. So I don't think there's any chance
they've already had Takas before.
Right. I don't think there's any chance that they're going to be looking towards Takas or Kellogg's. I think that Takas and Kellogg's are more of the tier 2 farmer kind of players that are still going to need a big opportunity back into tier 1. They both played tier 1 before, remember, and it didn't go that well for them. They might have gotten a lot better. They're still absolutely popping in tier 2, but I don't think they're going to get their opportunity this year.
The problem at this point is, as we said, that the Turkish farm is just, it's bountiful. It's plentiful on that farm. And people love that farm.
Yeah. Oh, it's speaking of a farm that got ravaged. I mean, the crops were able to stay alive on both sides, and suddenly we had to subsidize. And now we've only chosen the carrots, I guess, because they've grown, as Sideshow said, over, I don't know, the beets. What I'm trying to say is, Nongshim and Boom were living in harmony, and they were both inside the VCT.
And then the Fire Nation attack.
And now the subsidized nation attacked, the anti-beets
Korean
people
Scrim Mafia attacked.
Exactly. Boomer gone, Nongshim remains as the 2 people that did watch the Pacific Finals live on co-streaming. What do you guys make of this matchup? Did the world choose correctly, or are we out of like an amazing team in terms of Boom, or are they more stage 2-y than they were stage 1? What's the situation?
I think we're actually in a good scenario. I think we got a good outcome here. And part of the reason I believe that is because it looks like the big Korean teams... No. It looks like the big Korean teams are not going to pick the carcass of SLT or Nongshim as they ascend. So, whereas you could have got a situation, a bit like BBL Pacific, where like we expect that roster to maybe not survive the off-season, and so that's a bit like deflating even. I think... I don't know why this is the case, but for whatever reason, DRX, T1, and Gen G all seem like they felt pretty good about what they did last year and don't want to shuffle things around too much. And so from this point in the offseason, with people like Texture, Karen re-signing over towards Gen G, no real indication coming out of the DRX or T1 camp that they're making large moves, it seems like you'll actually get to see SLT and Nongshim play with their rosters. And they've got super good talent. I mean, watching Zuna play, watching Klaus play, watching, Dambi when he's unleashed, when he gets to play the way he wants to play. RB, of course. Like, these are really, really solid players.
Yep. Yeah. SLT will be good. Nongshim are good. Boom, I actually think that they didn't play horrifically bad, but I think they were just kind of outclassed overall. I do actually think there's still maybe a place for some of their players on other tier 1 teams, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, so my follow-up on that is I feel like it's going to be cool to see, and it's unfortunate that we don't get to see Boom's take on the next meta, because I feel like it actually syncs much more better with the way they play. They're going to be scary in that stage 2 challengers opportunity if that happens inside that region. I know it's the South Asia, like specific slots. There might be less slots for their team in general, but regardless, if this team was a Pokemon file for you guys and it got corrupted, and you can only send one Pokemon to Pokemon Home, which person are you plucking from Boom to put on any other team? The rest of their career ends.
Ooh, Shyo would be my player, I think. Maybe Berserks, but I think I'd go Shyo.
Yeah, I think that's a decent choice.
He's muted again.
Should we let him know?
Oh, sorry. I think that's I think that's a decent choice. I think some of their best players had already left the team by the time they got to play in Ascension. I mean, like, from this year of watching Boom, I was more interested in, like, what DOS9 was going to be up to, or even what Famous was going to be up to. Now, it seems like Famous is not actually even going to be full-time on Team Secret. Maybe I'm misunderstanding their announcement, but it seems like they're looking to, like, trial people for the duelist role rather than settling down. DOS9, though, on KC, I'm really excited for that. I think more excited than following, like, Shiro or Berserks or Slasher to another team.
Yeah, that's fair. Do I move on?
Let's talk about roommates, because I like them more than I like tenants, because you can get personal with them. We mentioned them before too. Sometimes they're out of their rooms and they end up in the living room, and oh wow, now you have to be on fire with me. That's crazy. But if you're inside your room, I still want to make sure you have your flowers and your magnification on looking at your life and what you're doing, Mr. Roommate. Our first roommate here, as joining us, is Timotino alongside Vora, going to 100 Thieves, taking away what could be a spot from EU. Maybe this is why he's got that yellow stamp on his dossier. Shout out plus Vora minus EU type situation. What's going on?
Well, I think this is obviously just MBS is going to 100 Thieves. Obviously, he's worked with these two players. They know the system. It actually probably should. I assume it will make 100 Thieves better at the early part of the season, because they've already got like a structure of a coach IGL who know each other already together. So that should work in that sense. Timotino is just an unbelievably good player. So I think he is very deserving of going to tier 1, even though TSM didn't win. So, yeah, I don't have... I think both the players they're picking up are good. Well, we'll have to see. I think 100 Thieves are an interesting team for next year that I'm kind of excited to see, but I don't have, like, super high expectations for them. But I think it's perfectly reasonable what they've done.
I love the Timotino pickup.
Apart from EU, I mean, what are you doing? Sign EU.
But what do you do with EU?
No, yeah.
Like, I guess if they knew that Mitch was available, maybe they would have gone for Mitch. But I can't even imagine them doing that, to be honest with you.
No, I think they'd. I think MBS has probably just gone sign this guy. He's good.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they could, maybe they would have signed John QT. You know, if John wanted out of Sen,
maybe,
that one might have made sense, and then you could keep EU possibly.
EU. Yeah.
But it does seem a bit cleaner. Will it be better? Who knows? But I can understand why they've picked up Vora, because he goes well with Timo, he goes well with NBS, he goes well with the caller spot, and unfortunately that means that EU has to be out. My concern with this team is with them keeping Cryo and Asuna, in the sense that they are gonna have to train up Cryo to play full, presumably Senti, right? I think that's probably going to be his role. That was what the rumors are swirling around. It does look like you can play a lot of Contact Sentinel next year, which is part of my argument for Demon1, right? So Cryo's going to be amazing at that. But he hasn't really played any of the other Senti, so that's what I would be spamming this offseason. Even if it's actually better to just be playing Veto or Chamber, I'd rather... Well, I suppose Veto because it's new. Yeah, you'd want him to be playing a bit of that. But to be honest, I'd be saying, bro, I know you can play Chamber. Don't even practice it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Just put the hours in to practicing Vice or, you know, Cypher on the rare map where, on the rare map where you want Cypher for the trip info or something. Figure that kind of stuff out. So, and the Asuna one, I know how valuable he is in terms of the team, the atmosphere. They've talked a lot about his emotional intelligence, his calling in the games, but I can't help but think that he also lends a frantic atmosphere to the way that 100 Thieves like to play. He's a very, like... sometimes when you watch him, it's like he's tugging the rest of his team on a leash, like getting them involved in a big team fight, a big brawl, and I think that he's one of the reasons why they've been playing this big brawl style of Valorant for so long. So I'm concerned about that. But not because he's a bad player, but because of the vision of the game that he has and whether it keeps them stuck in this one-dimensional atmosphere they've been in for the last couple of years.
Well, I'll talk to you about some drama that has nothing to do with the player quality or even if you were watching the games. Would you want, in the final game of your series, where the final rounds are ticking down, 2 players on your team that have been alongside you the whole time, that have the same stakes as you in the game, that are there fighting for that tier 1 spot with you and your team, or 2 players that are already in talks about being signed, are going to be in tier 1 regardless of whether you win or not? Because there was some drama I had to like try to clear up because everybody was going on this thing, at least in my chat, about how if Timotino and Vora are already signed, why do they care about winning Ascension? Or is there even a 1% chance in a 1% play where they don't get as sad or as passionate because they're already signed? I think it's hocus pocus. I think it's bogey. Like it's not the wave. Like
to
if
argue
you're playing, you're locked in. But like if they're already in talks with like 100 Thieves and they're playing for Ascension and we lost, it is what it is. Like what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, to argue that they're not going to try is obviously stupid, but like they wouldn't be as upset. Why would you be? Like you are playing in tier 1 next year. Like you're almost gonna be like not upset for yourself, but upset for your team. But like you just are gonna be less upset because you are playing in tier 1, like obviously. But
also unless you're a sociopath, you do have some level of empathy and desire to continue playing for the goal that you've been working towards, which is winning Ascension.
With this team that you've been playing for the whole year,
Yeah, you're not motivated by not being upset at the end of the day, I suppose. I mean, to peel back the curtain, the professional way of going about something like this is when you are, as a team, begin... Like, when you first qualify for Ascension, it's just having a team talk about, like, are we going to stick together? Are we going to take offers from Tier 1 separately? You know, that kind of stuff. And then when NBS is reached out to, when the players are reached out to, just being really transparent about it. Like, hey, I know we had this previous discussion where we said that people could take offers if they got good ones from other Tier 1 teams. I'm in talks with 100 Thieves, and I'm going to take that.
Look at this guy, man. Sign him as the general manager.
Well, I mean, it's just...
guy.
This is just...
I imagine Sideshow as a general manager.
Well, general managers have to make offers to players, right? You got to make some offers. We were here with dossiers. Let's look at offers we can't actually refuse. Things that we have to talk about. Let's jump over to just talking about one topic. Honestly, we might get to the second one, but we kind of mentioned it beforehand. The best players overall in Ascension. I want an impromptu, at least like your favorite best player overall out of all the regions. Start with Josh or start with some preamble so we can think a little bit. Well, what qualifies it being the best player? What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna give you a couple of players because I'm gonna cheat at this. But they've all got different roles, right? So at least like you've got a bit of a range in that sense. And I'm going to try to give you players that didn't ascend. So these are players that are still stuck in tier 2. I think most of my attention when I'm thinking about those kind of players was on this Dynasty team that played in EMEA. And I think that Tag, who plays Sentinel for them, looked really good. So if you're looking towards Sentinels that did ascend, obviously we were looking like Echo looked amazing, Creven looked amazing. Tag was also really good in that tournament. Italian player, seemed like he had a lot of energy, very skilled. Waddle, who plays Initiator for them, was also really, really good. And I think the calling on that team from Ticey was also among some of the best that I saw from these Ascension squads. A lot of these Ascension squads were sending it on their attack sides and playing a kind of style of Valorant where you'd have to be better than tier 2 to stop it, essentially. But then once you get into tier 1, I think that running it down like that will get crushed a lot of the time. What I liked about Ticey's calling is it felt like he was building the foundations to be able to level up into a bit more of a slower paced, mid-roundy, tier 1 style of attack side calling. If somebody had given him, a chance to do so. And it's not like, I don't think his fragging was appalling, but I guess I didn't look. So those were the 3 that stood out to me of people that
I'm going to shout out, because you took some of my answers there, Josh, but I'm going to shout out a player who did ascend, but isn't the main story on his team, but really has a very inspiring story, you might say, and that is Inspire from Envy. Why is that, for God's sake? You don't like him? You don't like the guy?
I don't like that he changed his name deliberately to something that has positive connotations so that he could, wash his image away of being
I don't know if you've seen the clip that was on the Valorant competitive subreddit about the Tarek clip of him playing with Zeppa.
Go on, run the people through it if they haven't seen it.
So they're playing on Ascent or something defense side, and I'm guessing they just lost a round, and Zeppa says something to Inspire.
Oh no, Inspire pushed out B main as the Sentinel, doing his like classic Inspire stuff, where he takes an aggro fight and he dies.
And Zeppa's then like, why the hell's my Sentinel pushing out, B main and dying? What are you doing? And then Inspire says back, in tier 1, you should really try and make some internationals. That's the goal. And then he's like, instantly, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Like, instantly he reverts back. For a second, Baby J came out, but then he reverts back into Inspire and is like, oh, I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. Which was very funny. And then Tarek says something like that wasn't very inspiring of you.
Every time we get a comms segment from Inspire, we need like the angel on the shoulder, devil on the shoulder, and it's either an Inspire com or a Baby J com.
But I do think, to be fair to the guy though, I think it would have been very tough. Like, getting cut from 100 Thieves would have been very tough. He basically, I know you don't like the whole name rebrand and stuff and like trying to pretend like you're some saint and, change who you are. But from where he was and being viewed essentially as a meme to getting back to tier 1 is quite a cool story. And I bet during 2023, if I told you that, Baby J is going to be back in tier 1 someday, people would be like, there's no fucking way, right? People would have told you there is no fucking chance that guy, who people viewed as toxic, who got cut from a team instantly for losing 13-0, would get back to tier 1, and yet here we are. So, props to Inspire, because I think it's a good story. And Sideshow's a hater.
No, I actually think it is a sick story as well. I hate the name rebrand, but I do think like he's got such an interesting play style. It's exciting to watch. It's almost like he plays the way that the Valorant trailers would want you to play a Sentinel agent.
Yeah,
and I think also you can hear it just in the interview when he won Ascension. He said, I've been the best North American Sentinel for a long time now, and now I've proven it. And that was after he won Tier 2, he said that. So if this guy starts getting any wins in Tier 1, the shit talk is going to be unbelievable, man. And also, who are the other top Sentinel players in North America? If we're just talking North America, the only one I'd handily put above him is Leaf. And I'd say he's kind of gapped by Leaf, to be honest. But then, who's the next best Sentinel from North America? It's probably Tex.
Jesus. Well, does Cortezia count now?
Oh, Scuba. Sorry, I forgot about
team?
Scuba as well. But yeah, Scuba's a rookie for this year. Yeah. That's why I wasn't thinking about it. Who were you saying, Shyo?
Cortezia, because he's on Sen now. But like,
he doesn't count. He's Brazilian.
His passport doesn't change, unfortunately.
But yeah, there's not that much insane Sentinel talent from North America specifically. There's a lot of good Brazilian, Turkish, some like Korean talent, that kind of stuff. Russian as well.
There you go. I hope that's an inspiring story to you all. Considering I started this episode, I think it's only fitting that I end the episode. It's been a... What, Shyo? You want to speak?
Yeah, what about my top Ascension players? The fuck?
You asked the question, so I didn't think you'd want to answer the question.
I think I didn't have any.
Quickly.
Shout out Doma. Didn't make it too far. Amazing champ stuff. And still, Enterprise was kind of popping. Shout out Havoc. Personal shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Because I hated on you. There's multiple clips of me being disgusted with your Yoru gameplay, and you dropped it. You picked up Cypher. You picked up a different role. You're popping, and you were doing really well. That 6K, I still dream about it. It was fucking crazy.
It was good.
And then finally, same player as well on that team, DG Zen. You can hear the chain rattling as he walks into your room, slaps you in the face, takes over your setup, and drops a 40K for you in ranked. He can do that. I hope he finds a way to get into Americas and play some more.
Okay, and with that, we're gonna slap the chain across your face and end this episode. Thank you, Mr. Sideshow. Thank you, Mr. Shyo. We learnt about each other today. We learnt about the new horizons, the future, the new tenants, the old tenants moving out, the drama. Everything's on fire, and so is this episode. Goodbye.
Like the video, comment the video, subscribe.
Jesus Christ. Keep that in if you want. Keep that in if you want.
Outro,
like,
but
subscribe.
you gotta do actionables, bro. Sub to the channel, like the video, comment. Bye.
Bye.